Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Read Beard. It's a damn fine day to talk about a book. And we're here for a book review. And today we're going to talk about The Mercy of the Tide by Keith Rosson. This is my fourth Rosson read, I think. And to be honest with you, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. I mean, top 10 minimally. I mean, maybe top five. Really, really love his stuff. Really, really love his style. And what I'll say about this book is I felt a lot of, it's got a lot of the themes that I like, suspense, the even horror elements, even some magical, like folklore type stuff, um, but written beautifully. Yeah, in my head. Now, I don't know how much this will hold up, but in my head, and I like to say the things that just pop into my head, but I felt like it was almost like a Stephen King meets Frederick Bachman. I mean, Stephen King's subject matter, but Frederick Bachman, a beauty of writing type stuff. Really, really love this book, and it's the first read of 2025 for me, and it was a five-star read, and it's Rawson's first novel. I recently did, I think you can see Fever House is right there, and then where's that? Oh, Devil by Name. So that's a two-book series, and I like those books, but I didn't love them like I love this, or his other book called Road Seven. I five-star liked that one as well. So unless I'm mistaken, there's only six total. He's got a short story collection, which is folk songs for trauma surgeons or whatever. I have that. I've read the first story, loved the first story, and he's got another novel called Smoke City. So I'll be reading both of those books probably in the next couple months and kind of putting my stamp on Rawson's full bibliography or however you want to say that. So hold on. Okay, synopsis. And then we'll talk about it a little bit. Riptide, Oregon, 1983, a sleepy coastal town where crime usually consists of underage drinking down at a Wolf Point bonfire. But then strange things start happening. A human skeleton is unearthed in a local park, and mutilated animals begin appearing, seemingly sacrificed on the town's beaches. The mercy of the tide follows four people drawn irrevocably together by a recent tragedy as they do their best to reclaim their lives, leading them all to a discovery that will change them and their town forever. At the heart of the story are Sam Finster, a senior in high school, mourning the death of his mother, and his sister Trina, a 9-year-old deaf girl who denies her grief by dreaming of a nuclear apocalypse as Cold War tensions rise. Meanwhile, Dave Dobbs and his deputy Nick Hayslip must try to put their own sorrows aside to figure out who or what is wreaking havoc on their own idyllic town. I'm sorry, on their once idyllic town. Yeah, so love this book. Uh, so you've got folklore, you've got Pacific Northwest, you've got Native American folklore, you've got I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, almost a creature that, I mean, like a not Bigfoot, but that's what I'm trying to say. What's the word there? There's a word that is it cryptids? I don't know, something like that. I feel stupid right now, but you've got all that going on. But like for me, like I said, four characters. They're all on this crash course, and the way that Rawson writes, the chapters are broken up into characters. Like that's Nick Hayslip and and then Sam Finster, and you would kind of think that that might be hard to read. Not hard to read, but it might, because generally when a book is written like that, I latch on to one particular character, and I get pissed off when we go over to another character, and so on and so forth. But this just all came together seamlessly for me. But so you've got the horror elements, the Native American folklore, you've got the Pacific Northwest, you've got the body that's been found. It's 150-year-old gravesite of a Native American girl that was basically torn apart on the beach, and that seems to be happening again now that this creature is coming and tearing apart animals and getting really closer and closer to probably doing it to a human, and it's all come like full circle as far as that goes. But for me, the biggest part was the grief. I mean, a central idea to this story is that our sheriff, Dave Dobbs, his wife died in a car accident with Sam Finster, our senior in high school, and Trina, their mother, who was having an affair with Nick Hayslip, the sheriff's deputy, and it just deals with grief in so many different ways, and that I found the beauty of the book in that one thing that stood out was the whole idea that Nick was having a relationship with Sam's mother. Not a what's the word I'm looking for? An adultery. It was cheating with Sam's mother, but she dies, and one thing that was kind of cool was his grief because over here you've got a husband, a son, and a daughter who are grieving, and I really shouldn't be allowed to grieve, or my grief will never actually be acknowledged, and that was kind of cool. But there's actually a couple of um, paragraphs that I want to read to kind of show you what I was talking about the beauty of the writing. So, gotta take the glasses off again. So Dave Dobbs would take couch pillows and put his wife's nightgown on him at night to feel like she was still sleeping next to him. Let's see here. He knew, even in the pale coloring of dawn, against the shade, that she was dead and lost to him forever, and that he was pressing himself against the scarecrowed corpse of her memory. The couch pillows inside her clothes, the last vestige of her scent on the nightgown. Each morning he woke with his arm over this thing, her effigy, always the same flare of shame in the morning, disgust, but like a drug addict, the contempt would fade by nighttime and he would be lost to it again. Even this falsehood was better than nothing, better than her being gone forever. It was better to awaken with shame at his own weakness than to only the pure and unbridled loss of her. Good God. Heartache every fucking morning like a bird catching on your clothes. Mm, love that. One other one, and it's kind of another look at grief, loss, but it said for the rest of his life, Robert Meacham, who had discovered Ada's body, would on infrequent but oft sleepless nights. Sorry, I'm gonna start over. I'm sorry. For the rest of his life, Robert Meacham, who had discovered Ada's body, would on infrequent, good Lord, but oft sleepless nights, with the darkness beyond the window glass spun out seemingly forever, consider this, how at its best the world seemed indifferent to sorrow and pain, and at its worst seemed an engine that ran on it like fuel. An engine that ran on sorrow and pain like fuel. So, yeah, really, really dug this book. Again, big fan of Keith Rosson. I'm not really going to go much more into it, but I mean, it's the 80s, Cold War. This is kind of an alternative telling of the Cold War. There is an apocalyptic, a centralized, almost apocalyptic feel to this book. And in that part, it has somewhat of an ambiguous ending, almost so that I kind of thought there might be a sequel to this book at some point. I even had to look and see if Smoke City was in fact a sequel, but it's not. But I just really enjoyed it. Like, it just really is my literary cup of tea. I have found a few authors that do that for me, and Rosson is now in that list. So, The Mercy of the Tide by Keith Rosson. This has been Well Read Beard. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.